Great. So if you look at what we have here, for example, if you're working in this particular industry, maybe you are dealing with the flight, so you have to record the customer's key, geography key, city. If you are importing goods, then now the company that is selling these goods to you again, they have to keep such kind of information about their customers. If you're a company, you have more than 1,000 employees, you have to keep their records based on this particular information. Now, for example, you're also working maybe in an institution, you need to record the name of the students, the course they are taking, and of course, maybe the amount of fees that has been paid by someone at the end of the year, or what's supposed to be paid for the entire semester. Then, if you're now working in a supermarket, you have different products. So anytime you're going to make sales into your system, then you have to keep a record of the name of the customer. If they are done payment using M-Pesa, is it a card? Then you of course you have to indicate that the item that has been purchased, the amount paid, and of course these items, you look at the specific item name, you look at the item category, and even the supplier, right? You'll be able to see that captured in the system of a supermarket. Now, you want to do analysis. You want to look at how these goods are actually being sold. You want to classify your sales based on the suppliers. You want to look at the frequent customers who normally purchase items from your shop. You want to look at those loyal customers who have purchased the highest amount of quality, items from your supermarket again. That would be, so you want to give them kickbacks, you want to give them offers, you want to give them shopping vouchers. Then you'll be able to do that by accessing that particular information for the last 2 months, for the last 3 months. Then you automatically have it. So this is the kind of data set we are having. How will you be able to do such kind of analysis? Number one, your system is able to capture all this other information. Then you have to use a different system, or you are given another system, maybe at the entrance, that they normally use to record such kind of information, which has got this data set. So you're able to have geography key, state province code, state province name, and that is clearly visible in the main data set. We'll be able to see that in the main data set. Now, this is what we have. The main data set does not have city. The main data set does not have region name or sales territory key. You need to get it from the lookup table. You need to get it from the lookup table. So during your discussion with Dr. Aura, I believe you are able to touch on something related to index, function, match, function. You looked at something to do with HLOOKUP. You looked at something to do with VLOOKUP. And of course, if you have Microsoft Office 365 or MS 2021, then you'll be able to see they introduced a new function that can also be used to do the same, called XLOOKUP, right? So that's what I think you discussed during your discussion with Dr. Aura. Now, I want us to go to a higher level of doing that. Remember those functions you are using them, number one, to merge your information, two, to reconcile your data and look for the gaps within your data set. I want us to do the same. So number one, for us to make such kind of analysis, for us to get the customer details, we have to fill this particular space, because at some point in time, we'll be required to give our total annual income based on city. We'll be required to give the total number of employees based on profession or English education, English occupation. We want to get this total number based on city. We cannot do it manually. We have to first of all fill this particular gap by extracting that data from our lookup table, which is already presented in this other side. So I want you to confirm to me, were you able to learn something about VLOOKUP? Were you able to learn something about VLOOKUP during your discussion with Dr. Ura? Did you discuss something that relates to VLOOKUP? Talk to me, talk to me. Did you do something with regards to that? Did you discuss something with regards to that? Did you discuss something with regards to that? Good. I don't understand what PC is not understanding up to this point. I've just communicated. We've not done anything. PC, where is the issue? PC, please let us understand what is the matter. What was the key item during your discussion? When you are doing VLOOKUP, you don't just have the formula. There's something that you need to identify before you decide on doing your VLOOKUP. Can someone help us understand? What do I need before I do VLOOKUP? What do I need to have? I have to check these two different data sets and look at something. What is it that I must identify before I go to any other thing? Okay, at the end of this lesson, you'll be able to understand what VLOOKUP is. So don't be worried. That's why we are here. These 2 hours will be utilized to do VLOOKUP. So don't worry. Don't worry. Anything that you are able to remember, vertical data, okay. So Kenya Alex is able to remember that you have to look at the vertical data, okay. Vertically arranged data, great, because you're able to look at something with the teams, the data set, the default data set. So that's what was given to you. So let's say at this point, somebody is not working for anything to do with the football club, right? Someone is working in a supermarket. Someone is working as an auditor. Someone is an accountant in an hotel industry. Someone is also working in a service industry, right? Someone is working in a college, right? So all those industries will be able to apply this particular data or concept to bring our data to the right format. Good. Now, I believe you have to, or when you are doing that VLOOKUP, you looked at the first data set, you looked at the second data set, and you are required to identify something in the name of identity key, the lookup value. Are you able to remember that? Identity key. Yes, I want to combine this data set from the challenge worksheet and lookup table. The first thing I need to do, what item am I having in the challenge table that's also available in the lookup table that are unique to a specific thing? Assume you add something to do with the names. Remember, names can be same, right? Because even in this meeting, I'm sure if I look at my meeting here, I'm able to see I have someone by the name Caroline. I believe another Caroline is in this meeting. I'm able to see we have Elizabeth. I can confirm we have more than one Elizabeth. I'm able to see we have someone by the name. We have someone by the name Frederick Bernard appearing more than once. Now, if we use name as the identity key, then our data will not be perfect. Why? Because Frederick is appearing here more than once. Yet, those are two different people. When I decide to use mobile number, will I be able to do that? Yes. But do we have that mobile number as an identity key in our data set? The answer is no. Now, what is it that I'm going to use as the lookup value, the identity key, the unique code? If I had ID numbers, then I could have used that because national identity card number is not similar. It is unique to each person. If I had KRA PIN, I could have used KRA PIN because it is unique to each individual. So in our data set here, if you look at these two, what is it that you're able to see that qualifies to be used as an identity key? What can we use as an identity key here? What can we use as an identity key? Yes, Nancy is telling us if we use geography key, then I will be able to select this data or combine this particular data. Good, that's good. Any other person? Paul is telling us geography key will be the perfect thing to use. Customer key. Okay, so let's look at customer key. Let's look at customer key. Now, if you use customer key, what if this customer purchased a given product 5 or 6 times? What will happen? You will be having this one customer key and it will pick the first item that was purchased. The other remaining 5 items will not be taken care of. So customer key will fail us. It is not unique. Remember, it depends on, again, frequency, right? Good. So what we are going to use here is the geography key as the identity key. If I look at my geography key here, I look at this, it is unique. So that's what we are going to use to combine this data. Today, you'll have advantage of doing this particular information or data set by use of 3 or 4 if possible. Number 1, you're going to use VLOOKUP. By changing column index number manually, we'll be using VLOOKUP and merge function to automate this. Number 2, we are going to use what we call XLOOKUP. And number 3, we are going to use what we call Power Query to make this data perfect. Good. So let's start with VLOOKUP. Whatever you discussed, then we see whether you are able to remember that. So I'll come here and introduce or activate my cell by introducing equal sign. So I'm going to have VLOOKUP. So let's type the word VLOOKUP. Once it appears in blue, you just click your tab button to be able to insert the formula. Lookup value. A lookup value, we've said, it is geography key. That is the identity key. I believe during your discussion, you also discussed something about cell referencing. We have partial, we have full cell referencing. The cell referencing can be done, number 1, by creating name from selection, creating name from a given range, and of course by use of $sign. So for our discussion here, we are going to use $sign to do cell referencing. So all my identity keys or the lookup value are all found in column. They are there in column B. When I will be autofilling my formula horizontally, I need to move from column C, column D to column E. But my lookup value here or identity key will not change. So I need to lock something. This continuous point of reference should be locked. Remember, as I move down, I will keep on changing the row. From row number 2, the next one will be row number 3, row number 4, all the way to the last one. But all my identity keys are available in column number B. So column B becomes our common point of reference, and therefore I need to lock that column. When I want to lock column B, I'll be placing a $sign before the letter B. So let's place a $sign before B to mean we've locked our identity key or reference point. So place a comma. The next thing that is required there is the table array. I want to combine these two. I'm working in which worksheet? Challenge. So the table array now is this other table, the lookup table, this other data set. So I'll come here and highlight all of this, including the title. So what do we need to do? Come and place your cursor there, which again, I believe you discussed how to highlight the entire data set. You place your cursor there, hold Control and Shift together, click on the right navigation key or the arrow pointing to your right-hand side, still holding Shift and Control together, click the page down arrow or the arrow that is pointing towards you. If that is done, you'd be able to see you've automatically highlighted the entire table. This table is a common point of reference. It will not change. It will be a constant point. And also, for information, during your discussion, I believe You are also told that anytime you see the word table array, criteria range, anytime you see the word array and range, then it must be fully locked. At this point, we are referring to what we call table array. There's that word array. It must be fully locked. How do we fully lock this? We just dial F4. When you dial F4, you'll be able to fully lock this. If you dial F4 and you're not able to see $signs introduced everywhere for that particular range, what do we need to do? Hold on the function key, that is Fn. Then now go to F4. So you are able to see what has happened to my range. Lookup table. It is A1 fully locked to H656. The whole of it is locked. We've locked the column, we've locked the row. So that range does not change. It is a component of reference that should be fully locked. So after doing that, we place a comma. After doing that, we place what does it requires us to do here? What does it require us to do here? So you lock it 100%. Yes. So having it down there, after locking the table, you're able to see this formula is actually guiding you. The first thing you place lookup value, table array, then you place a comma. The next thing is now appearing in the bold, column index number. So what you like to do, remember after this comma, you need to put something. So let's take care of that. Don't move any step, but I want to explain up here. What are we interested in? Great. Sorry for that. Sorry for that. Sorry. Now I was referring to this and the way to nice. Oh, sorry. Good. Now, this is what we have. We've already selected our table array, right? We've already selected our table array. So from the table array, the next item that is required is the column index number. Now, you remember your table array is this part here. Your table array was the entire from that is A1 all the way to H656. That is column H down there. So let's count the column numbers. Let's count the column numbers starting from 1, 2, 3, all the way to city. What are we having as the column index number? You've said your data is ranging from column A all the way to column H. You want to get city to be returned in the main data set. We want it to return to us the city. So what is the column index number? Remember, I've said you start from this point for your entire table, which you've actually highlighted here and fully locked. It is starting from A1 all the way to H560, 656. Please count the column numbers. Where do we get city? Where do we get city? somebody's telling us 1, another person is getting 8, another person is getting 7. Let's see what these people are getting. Let's see what these people are getting here. Let's count it together. So this one here is number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5, number 6, number 7. Yes, the entire table where we've actually fully logged has got 8 columns, but city is found in column number 7. So let's type the word 7, comma. Once you type the word 7, remember here we are trying to look for transactions. We are trying to trace. We are looking at exact match. We don't want anything close to it because maybe somebody entered data and they have actually missed the transaction code by 1 digit. That will be a very big problem. You will not get it in your bank statement. So you have to rectify that. We need an exact match. So if you need the exact match, instead of just type 0, just type 0, then you close your bracket. When you enter, what are you able to see? Please let me know what you are seeing. We have the same data, we have the same arrangement. So which one are you seeing under city? That is the formula. Look at what I've displayed on my screen. Since we are using the same data, the same column, what is your first city? What is your first city? What is your first city? Let me see what these people are getting here. Good. So I need to enter, then we compare that. When you enter, you're able to see you are getting this city, right? What if I do it now horizontally? Let me just do it horizontally up to sales territory key. So let me just autofill it all the way to this point. Let me autofill it all the way to this point. Someone is all getting to the meeting at this point. That document was shared in our WhatsApp group. It is there. Everyone has got it, has got this document. When I talk to this, let us just try and see if we'll be able to manage. I didn't understand how you counted the columns. Wow. Let's look at it. This is what I have. This is what I have. I have column A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and H. Please, let's start counting. Column A is 1, right? And remember the column that we are referring to, this data has got titles. We have geography key, state province code, state province name. Those are the columns we are referring to. So this is column 1, column 2, column 3, column 4, column 5, column 6, column 7. What is our interest? We are interested in getting CT as the result. So where do we get CT? Within this table that we highlighted. It is found in column number 7. It was shared in our WhatsApp group. It was shared in our WhatsApp group. Okay, so that is what is there. Or is it really not manageable? We end our session. We plan for another day. Please let me know. Are we able to continue? Are we able to continue or we plan for another day? Are we able to continue or we plan for another day? Please let me know. Let me know down there. Should we continue or do it another day? Great. Now, if I try to autofill it all the way to this part horizontally, look at what is happening. State province code is being returned as the city name, right? English country region name is being returned again as the city name. What has happened? What has happened? Look at it. Look at my formula very well. What is it saying? It is referring to column index number as 7. Column index number is maintained all through, right? Column index number is maintained all through, yet this state province code, is it still column index number 7? The answer is no. Let's see. State province code is here. So when you count the column index numbers for our titles here, what is the column index number for state province code? What is the column index number for state province code? Remember, you told me that city is column index number 7. How did you arrive at 7? You said 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We now need state province code. What is the column index number? What is the column index number? Somebody to help us there. What is the column index number? It is column index number 2. So let's now come to this data here. Let's come to this data here. And at this point, let's change it. Let's change it to 2 and see what will happen. Let's change that 7 to 2. Let's change that 7 to 2. Will it return the right state province code? Will it return the right state province code? Yes. It is not giving us that city name. It has given us the state province code. Yes, that's what we are getting. So please, can we go ahead and move to this other one? English country region name. English country region name. So we need it to return to us what is here. What will I use to replace that 7 for the English country region name? Column index number. This is my range. I need this. Column index number. Column index number. What will we have? Column index number 5. Good. So let me come here, replace 7 with 5 and see what will happen. I have Australia, which is the right one. Sales territory key. Sales territory key. Let's come here. This is the titles. Sales territory key. What is the column index number? What is the column index number? Column index number 8. Column index number 8. Column index number 8. So if you follow that procedure, that is for someone who is interacting with Excel for the first time. That is for someone who is interacting with VLOOKUP for the first time. But you, as someone who has been able to deal with this Excel thing, you should not be able to change these column index numbers manually. No. What if you have like 20 columns here? What if you had like 100 columns here? Will you change it manually all the way to 100? No. We'll have a lot of what Excel is able to do. For someone who is able to understand what Excel come index numbers manually, that's where now this function called match will come and save us from all that problem. Match function. Match function will enable us to identify the location of our data. The location of data we are referring to here is either column number or row number. It is either column number or row number. Please repeat. I've said, as you can see, we were changing the column index numbers manually. We moved from 7. Here we changed it, we went, counted it, and then we got 2 is the column index number. We had to replace it manually. came here, replace 7 with 5, we did it manually. Here, we said it is 8, did it manually. What am I trying to say? It means if you don't change it manually and try to autofill at the starting point here, we'll have this problem of city being filled throughout. So we have to bring in a concept of automating this. How will I do that? Let's undo that. So for the benefit of those who are not able to understand it in the first step, I want us to repeat the same thing, but now introduce match function in the process. So I'll come here and type the word equal to VLOOKUP. So let's do it together, VLOOKUP. My lookup value we said is the geography key here. I have to lock column B. So come and place a $sign before letter B. Place a $sign before letter B, comma. After that, what does it require? It wants you to give us the table array. Where do you get the other data? Good. Come to this spot, Control, Shift, right, click the right navigation key, still holding Control and Shift together, click the page down arrow. That will enable you to highlight the entire table. Then you fully lock it by telling us F4. You fully lock it by telling us F4. So once that is done, you place a comma. You place a comma. Remember, the column index number is what we are changing manually. And I've said, what if we had 100 columns? What if we had 200 columns? What will I do? That's where the problem is, and that's what we want to solve together. I will come and introduce what we call match function. Match function will enable us to solve this. So click on tab button. What does match function require? It wants you to give us the lookup value. So go to the initial table, this original table here. Match function, lookup value will be the city. So that's the name, city, which should be locked. Now, once you place your cursor on the word city, remember, I want it to keep on counting. I was counting the columns manually. I want it to count these columns for me. So it means all my columns. How do we find the $sign even within the keyboard? Okay, someone is not able to see the $sign. Steve, look at what we have on top of 4. Are you able to see anything on top of 4? Steve, check on top of this number 4. What are you able to see there? Is it something close to what I'm using here as the $sign? Is it something close to what I'm using here as the $sign? Steve, say something. Good. Now, our interest here is this match function. We don't need to do it manually. This match function will be able to do that for us. So lookup value is this city. Remember, all the titles are placed in row number 1. Our titles are placed in row number 1. But columns will be changing. The first title I'm able to see is in column A, column B, column C. Another title, state province code, is found in column D. So the columns are changing, but row is maintained. It is row number 1 all through. So what do I need to do? They are sharing row number 1. So I have to lock that one. I have to lock that one. So come here and place $sign before number 1. To me, we've locked that row. Having done that, what are we required to put? Again, you have match function. So lookup array is now the original data. The other data. So when you come to lookup table, let me do it to this point. Count. The moment we pick on city, it will be able to automatically understand that is this column number 7. So our lookup array is all these titles. So come and highlight all the titles here. Come and highlight all the titles. Remember I said something. If you hear the word array, range, what do you need to do? If whatever is you've selected represent a range or an array, what do we need to do? What do we need to do? I've selected something. It has got array or the word range. What do I need to do? What do I need to do? So what do I do? F4. So just dial F. Just dial F4. Then we fully lock that. Then you place a comma. Do you need exact match? Do you need greater than? Anytime you're going to deal with data, accountants requires exact thing. It was almost, or it is slightly below that. No, we need an exact match. And you can see exact match is represented by number 0. So what do I need to do? Come and type the word 0. Then you close. Then you close that bracket for the match. So what we were doing there, we were inserting the column index number. Then you place a comma. The same thing you're going to do now. What are we going to do? What are we going to do? You now do take exact match, which is 0 again. Then you close the brackets. When you enter, you can now see, I can simply autofill this without changing it manually. You can now see I'm able to autofill it. I'm able to autofill everything without changing those 9, 7, 8, 2. No, I just set my formula at this point. Then we move forward. Okay. Okay, so what are we supposed to do? Should we end this session? Let me know. Good. Now, if you look at what we are having here, remember I've said we can automate this by using match function. So match function is enabling us to eliminate the issue of changing the column index numbers manually. Match function has been able to eliminate this particular problem. So once you do it to that point, just autofill by double clicking that to see everything brought in place. Right? Good. Now, that is step 2. Remember, I've used method 1 where you need to change the columns manually. I've used method 2 where you have to automate by bringing in match function to change the column index numbers. Now, I want to give you the most or the latest method, the latest developed method or function called XLOOKUP. Will XLOOKUP help us to solve what we are trying to do? Let's see. So I will just come and delete my functions here. Delete whatever you filled in this column. These 4 columns here, delete what you have there in that function. The match concept. Okay, so let's have it here. Equal to match. Sorry, VLOOKUP. Equal to VLOOKUP. Lookup value, we said it is this one here. We lock B. That is common point of reference, comma. Table array. This is the table. So I need to lock the all of this table. I let that table, then you lock it 100%. comma, what does it require? Column index number. So this column index number is what you now deal with by bringing in match function. So click your tab button. Lookup value is the column title. You come to challenge table here and click on this title. All of them are in row number 1. So I lock that one. I simply lock that one. So just lock one. Then lookup array, I come to this table. I highlight all the titles, lock them, Fn, F4, comma, match exact, close the bracket, comma, then we also need the exact match, another 0, close the bracket. Once that is done, you autofill, then do it to the last part. Okay,